I want to make a unique blend that uses only coffees from Brazil. Wow! When it comes to volume, there's no one that's even really close. Whoa! We're talking 40+ million bags of coffee. This is the coffee kingdom. You try 700 cups a day? Whoa! This is truly a coffee paradise. Oh la la! Ooh, silky, juicy. The best of Brazil in one blend. Saúde! Saúde!
For over 20 years, I've traveled the world searching for exceptional coffees. But among the greatest treasures I've discovered along the way are the incredible people, their fascinating cultures, and the most awe-inspiring landscapes you could possibly imagine. Now, I have the opportunity to show you a different side of the world through the lens of coffee. Today, my search for the world's most important coffee from blends and espresso takes me to Brazil. In the coffee business, Brazil is like the flagship country. Believe it or not, roughly a third of all the coffee on the global market comes from Brazil. The coffee plantations are massive here, covering around 10,000 square miles. It's a business that employs millions of people, producing more coffee than anywhere else in the world, and it's where most of the world's instant coffee comes from. Historically, the coffee industry in Brazil was built on mass production and sort of a homogeneous, somewhat negligible taste profile, but that is a norm that is definitely starting to change. My journey actually starts here, not in the coffee-producing area of the country, but in the city of Sao Paulo. Sao Paulo has sort of a renewed significance because the people here want to start drinking the good stuff.
Over 95% of the people here drink coffee. If they're over the age of 15, they most likely drink coffee. It's huge. It's second only to water, so they have their priorities in the right place.
In Sao Paulo, I've heard that there are over 20,000 coffee shops, and although it's hard to verify this number, it's not hard to verify that the most renowned coffee shop is the one I'm heading to next. But first, I have to make my way through the infamous traffic of the largest city in Latin America, with some of the worst congestion problems in the world, and that's after a long flight with no coffee. The traffic here is all about timing. My driver tells me it should be about an hour, but if we hit any untimely setbacks, I could be as many as 3 hours away from my first espresso. Thankfully, I hit the traffic just right, and I'm in the Via Madalena neighborhood without too much delay. This place used to be a total hippie hangout, but not anymore. Now it's the trendiest place to see and be seen.
The coffee culture has really lifted up this whole area in Sao Paulo. What I love is, seeing people outside enjoying a really good cup of coffee. And supposedly, the coffee lab here is the best. Every expert I know that is familiar with Brazil, they all say, go see Isabella, go see the coffee lab. So I'm really, really curious to see what she's doing here.
The Isabella everyone is referring to is Coffee Lab owner and founder, Isabella Raposeras.
You must be Isabella.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Joey. Nice to meet you.
Nice meeting you, Joey.
Isabella is coffee royalty in Brazil, and her love of all things coffee is evident.
We are a school, a coffee shop, and a roastery.
Wow, nice. I want to see. Can you give me a tour?
Sure, sure.
All right, very cool.
There's a big tax on importing coffee from abroad, so Isabella is only using local beans. She works closely with Brazilian producers to get exactly the characteristics of flavor, aroma, and texture she wants in the coffee she serves. People from all over the world come here for the roasting classes, but today it appears as though there's a little problem with the roaster.
Yeah.
It's not lighting.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not.
Tá aberto o gás?
Isabella roasts about 2 tons of coffee per month on this machine, so she wastes no time in getting everything working again. I have to say, the way she's combining training, education, and retail service is very clever.
So this is where we kind of go into your brewing section. And this is like your coffee shop, right? People come in here.
This is my lab. All of it is my lab. And that's why we don't have a counter.
It's both an education center and a coffee shop, and it isn't snobby. It's just fun. Isabella maintains that some of her Brazilian coffees totally defy the norm, and she's definitely piqued my interest.
Wow!
What recipe would you like?
Whatever you think is the best one.
It comes as no surprise that there's a lot of care that goes into Isabella's signature coffee alchemy.
We like precision here. We're very disciplined.
Yeah.
I'm very strict.
Her customers are becoming more and more knowledgeable about coffee. It's not enough to know where the coffees come from. They also want to know by whom the coffees were grown.
Really do the whole process at the table. We pour over at the table. We explain the customer. We make them smell the freshly ground coffee.
So you make it fun. It's a whole experience.
Right. It has to be a class.
Yes. So even for the customer, it's a class. Whoa! No way ever you could tell me this is from Brazil. No way.
I know.
I would never believe it.
Honestly, this brew defies what anyone in the coffee world would expect from Brazil. It's bright and driven by tropical fruit tones. Brazil coffees usually play toward chocolate notes with a weighty mouthfeel and some spicy elements, so it's rare to find one like this with significant, bright sort of juiciness.
Saúde.
Today, my coffee journey brings me to Santos, about 50 miles south of Sao Paulo. This city plays a significant role in the coffee trade. Now that I'm sufficiently caffeinated, I'm taking the short 3-mile drive from the coffee palace to the Port of Santos, which is one of the largest ports in Latin America. Before coffee, Brazil's economy had been based on gold and diamond mining, but today, Brazil exports over 30 million bags of coffee per year. More than 85% of the entire country's coffee exports leave from this port. The coffee is shipped all over the globe, but the United States and Germany are among the 2 largest markets for Brazilian coffee.
In the late 1700s, those mines started drying up, and they needed to find something else to help grow the economy of both Brazil and Portugal. And they ended up jumping onto coffee, and they called it green gold. And at one point, they even started handing out tracts of land to wealthy, adventurous farmers who wanted to get into this new thing called coffee. And eventually, it took off.
Today, coffee's been joined by sugar, soybeans, and meat on the list of top exports. But looking around the port, it's totally obvious that coffee still plays a dominant role in the economy here.
So when you're in the coffee business, it's really important to understand, where your coffee is going before it gets shipped out and what that process is like. And in many countries, when the coffee comes and it gets near the port, it's down at low elevation and there's a lot of humidity and the coffee can get damaged. Brazil, they totally have their act together because they export such a massive amount of coffee. And all of these containers are for coffee. It's just astounding how huge everything is here. So the Walters family is a Danish family, and they're one of the larger exporters here in Brazil. And so I'm here to meet Annika, who's going to give me a tour of this port. Nice to meet you. Definitely.
Oh.
Wow, I figured I was just going to look for someone who's Danish, and you look very Danish, and you look very cool, too.
Hair?
I love the red hair, totally.
Anniki's family exports around 3 million bags of coffee from the port here every year, so she's well acquainted with all the nuances of this place.
And all these containers are for coffee?
Yeah. 100% coffee around you.
Man.
Step 1 is to put on the safety harness, which is not quite as easy as it looks.
Yes, they do. Is there an instructional DVD that comes with this thing?
There you go.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. All right, let's go.
There's this constant stream of trucks coming into the port to drop off bags of coffee.
Come in on the truck and they get loaded manually into these containers. And you can imagine how many containers these guys have loaded. Check this out. Look at this. There's probably, 320 bags or something in here. Look at those muscles, man. That's what happens. Look at this guy.
The coffee from here will be shipped to the United States, Europe, and Asia. Once the containers are loaded, they have to be weighed.
This is a full container. It's going to be weighed, and then it's going to go to that truck right over there, where it's going to be taken to the ship.
And where's it going to go from there?
Japan.
Ah, Japan.
It's impressive how quickly and precisely they move this massive equipment around, and it's containers like these that cut shipping costs and save a lot of time. Once it's safely locked down, it's off to the ship.
Nice.
And let me tell you, there is a lot of fascinating coffee history that has come out of this building. Nicknamed the Coffee Palace, it was the official coffee stock exchange in the 1900s. In order to better understand the coffee trade here, it's so important to check out its history.
So this is the former trading floor where they used to trade all the coffee, for Brazil. This room had a huge impact on global economies, really, and especially the economy here in Brazil and in Portugal. Just picture guys like running around, yelling, trading.
This is where the price of coffee was set, and the building still has the old board where they would chalk up the prices that the stock was worth. One of my favorite things about this place is the coffee shop. You can taste different Brazilian coffees as espresso, and it's so much fun.
Oh, I know about this. Jaco bird coffee. This is bird poop coffee. So what the bird does is he picks the very best cherries, poops them out, they forage through the poop, they dry it and roast it, and then we drink it. So you gotta try it, right? Oh.
I must say these birds have good taste in coffee. The beans are very uniform with no defects, and supposedly the digestive process of the birds has an effect on the taste of the coffee itself.
You could say the digestive process of the bird softens the coffee and it makes it less harsh and therefore it's smoother. In theory, I've never tried it, so we'll see.
Shall we try now?
Oh, shall we?
At about $7 a cup, this costs 4 times as much as the typical coffee here.
I have to admit, it's pretty good, actually.
I've been watching these giant ships of coffee coming and going from the port all day. And it's moments like this that really bring the sort of grandiosity of the global coffee business front and center. Some of the coffee on that ship will soon be enjoyed in a coffee shop in Japan. It's my last morning in Santos, and I have to say that one of my favorite travel rituals is getting up early and finding coffee serendipitously.
Muleta? Si. Wait, just saying yes. I don't really know. She said, she nodded, and I said, crap. Sometimes in these coffee-producing countries, all the good stuff gets exported, and the internal consumption is usually instant coffee or something really nasty.
And so far, we're not up to a very auspicious start.
Okay, look at that. It's kind of melting in the cup a little bit. I'm a little bit afraid to even try it. I'm guessing it'll be a bit like... it's like pure rubber meets medicine meets melted plastic. It's probably not the best idea to have poured this into a plastic cup. It's sort of melting and it's sticking to the table. But it was served with a big smile.
Unfortunately, despite how the coffee tastes, I'll have to admit I still need the caffeine, even if it means drinking another sip.
A lot of people are curious, like, what is instant coffee? And actually what it is they create a coffee extract, a liquid extract, and then they spray it into a fine mist into this hot moving air. And sometimes the hot air is over 400 degrees Fahrenheit. And what they do is they spray the mist into this hot air. The hot air dissolves all of the liquid, and the matter all drops to the bottom of the tower. And that's how you have what they call spray-dried instant coffee.
Cool. And then it's got a...
Gives you the jeebies.
Okay, so enough of the city. I'm feeling the call of coffee country, and I'm off on a 1-hour flight from Sao Paulo to Uberlândia, 370 miles north of the capital. It's one of the richest agricultural regions in Brazil, and the estate I'm heading to is in the vast Cerrado region, which is a massive tropical savanna, 3 times the size of Texas. I've always been drawn to the heavy body and creamy finish of some of the coffees from this region. And there's a farm here that's world-renowned for their approach to coffee agronomy. I can't wait to check it out.
So I'm really excited about going to this farm because I've heard so many things about it from people throughout the world, that Daterra is the place in Brazil for the best coffee, because they don't just grow coffee here, they also do science, they research, they practice with different varieties, and they experiment here and there. And the overall farm is massive. I mean, it's like 2,800 hectares, which, to give you an idea, is about close to 7,000 acres. And it's surrounded by 3,200 hectares of preserved land, which again is almost 9,000 acres, and it's right here in the middle of the Cerrados. So this is going to be an experience to remember, no question. Are you Gabriel?
Yeah.
Ah, I figured. Okay, how are you doing, man? Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
What a pleasure. This is such a great journey coming up here. And
How was the trip?
It was great, and I took your advice and I explored a little bit of the Cerrado around here. And that just blew me away. I mean, it was like, I thought Africa had the most impressive savanna, but I think this was something I've never seen.
Some people call Cerrado the Brazilian savanna.
Yeah.
It looks a lot like the savanna, the African savanna.
It's kind of similar, but different, right?
Yeah, dry climate. You have these very low trees with lots of dry grass. So it pretty much looks like the savanna as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I blew me away how large it is.
Let's go check the farm.
Oh, let's do it. I'm ready. The temperature, too, here, it kind of reminds me of, like, Northern California.
The temperature here is very stable. It's around the 25 degrees. And now we are in the winter right now.
So Gabriel explains that although the temperature here is perfect for coffee, the soil here is not so great. And they do a lot of work to improve it for better yields and a more interesting flavor.
And we actually get very good results from these systems that we are implementing here.
Yeah.
One of the things that blows me away about this place is all this mega equipment. No other country in the world has so many coffee farms with this type of infrastructure.
These coffee bags are being loaded onto the truck, and they're going right to Santos, to the port, where they're going to get shipped out to who knows where. Could be Asia, could be Europe, could be North America. There's no country that's even close to producing the volume that Brazil produces. And one of the reasons they're able to do this is because everything is so mechanized. Even the way they load these coffee bags. So this is another way they package coffee, and it's called super sacks, and they're super huge. One bag holds like 1 ton of coffee. It's for larger roasters, you know, who don't want to deal with all these little bags. Oh, massive coffee.
Whoa, talk about efficiency. This area of the plant is dedicated to sorting and grading the beans, and where in most countries this process is done by hand, here it's all high-tech and mechanized. They also have this little room that uses ultraviolet light to sort the good beans from the bad ones. When Gabriel turns on the light, you can see the defective beans actually glow. The light is picking up physical defects, such as mold from when the coffee was dried. And I've got to say, it's a pretty fascinating technique.
Almost none. Wow. Yeah. So these are the good ones. And this is rejection.
And while Daterra can produce coffee on an enormous scale, they still have a small farm sort of spirit. A lot of care is taken in the development of their specialty coffees as well.
Everyone has an idea of Brazil as a massive producing country. And yeah, most farmers in Brazil, they are quite big. But here we are targeting very high-end coffees, very specialty coffees. And the only way to do that is actually by treating this whole piece of land as a small farm would be treated.
And what do you mean by that? I mean, how does that work? If it's big, how is it small?
So we have 2,800 hectares of coffee planted area. But the whole farm is divided into mini farms.
Oh, so you have like little micro lots, little small lots.
Terroirs, pretty much. And each mini farm has an average of 5 to 10 hectares, so it's pretty small.
Separating the coffee plants into small lots gives the Daterra team a lot of freedom to experiment with various techniques.
You must be Gustavo.
Nice to meet you.
How are you?
Nice to meet you. Good.
So you have a pretty amazing job, it sounds like.
Well, it's challenging.
Yeah.
Gustavo is a master in the science of coffee soil management and production. On this particular lot, however, he just lets Mother Nature do her thing.
This fruit drops from the tree naturally. You just let it, no one harvests it.
No.
When it's ready to drop, it drops.
It drops.
When the coffee cherries fall to the ground, they land on this mesh material, which enables them to dry naturally.
Interesting. And it's something you never see anywhere else because it rains, and so if it drops, it'll just rot and mold and taste terrible and ferment. But you can do that here because of the moderate temperatures and
it gets very dry.
Wow. Some of these coffees are so good they've been winning awards.
Why are they doing so well?
I think it's because of the very slow process of the drying.
Wow. Sometimes it's amazing how when you just don't mess with stuff, it just is better, you know?
Exactly.
It's harvest season, and although harvesting coffee is often done by hand, here it's all about the machines.
So this is winter here in Brazil, but this is the earliest, this is like the first harvest, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
With the harvesting machines.
What they do is they cut the coffees first to see at what point the tree is at as far as ripeness. And then when it's ready, they say, you know, bring in the machines, and the machines start rolling through these trees. Can we go up there?
Sure, let's climb the transformer.
That's way too much fun.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Wow, this is beautiful up here. Whoa.
To start, the machine moves very slowly, and adjustments are made to assure that the maximum number of red cherries are harvested. It's important to calibrate these rods just right, which requires a high level of precision.
The idea is that you can adjust the speed at which they turn, because if there aren't a lot of ripe cherries ready, you don't want to rip all the green coffee off, because then you won't have it later.
As the cherries are harvested, they go into a bin at the side of the machine, and Gustavo must climb down to see if they are getting the right proportion of red cherries. His first check shows a lot of red cherries, but also quite a few too many unripe ones.
I'm gonna tell him to double the speed.
Oh, yeah.
We have less green.
Less greens, okay.
His solution is to speed up the machine a bit to reduce the number of green cherries from the mix. One of the primary reasons these machines work in Brazil is that the land is flat. You could never use one of these on a steep farm in Colombia, for example. It's amazing to see how these huge machines do such a delicate job.
This is like coffee heaven for me. This is coffee heaven.
While we were out riding the machines, Cecilia and Edna have been getting coffee samples ready to try. I've always been impressed by how much time and effort goes into preparing a coffee tasting.
So this is the coffee lab at Daterra, and this is kind of the brains behind the operation in a sense. This is where they sample all the coffees. These coffees we all know are already really, really good.
I'm so curious to see how some of these farming techniques might translate to the final cup.
Interesting. Like a hazelnut vibe or a hazelnut? This one goes a little towards lemon, a little bit. This one, I already smelled it. We already did sort of the fragrance, and this one was the one that stood out to me the most. It was kind of sweet, creamy. I'm gonna go with my gut, and I'm gonna go with Sunrise right here.
You like this coffee because it has a very gentle and soft acidity.
Yeah.
It's very mild.
Right.
It has this chocolate tone.
So that's the one.
I've been allured by a cup that is way more special than your average Cerrado grown coffee. It's clear that all the effort has really paid off. The coffee I picked exudes this sort of Cerrado charm, but also has a much more complex and unique taste that I think will play very well as an espresso. Here at Daterra, they call this the coffee ceremony, and as their guest, I get the honored privilege of brewing the coffee myself.
One part of coffee. So.
I feel like I'm dreaming or something. It's like not real. I mean, I have all this coffee, and you have, what's this?
This is a cheesecake, but countryside cheesecake from Brazil, nothing close to the American cheesecake.
You get a lot of money for this coffee. This is like the nectar coffee.
Yeah, well, it's the experiments that succeeded, and everyone wants to buy, so the only fair way to actually decide who's gonna buy it is auctioning.
I'm fortunate enough to be enjoying a cup of this coffee, because these auction lots go fast.
It's so appropriate for this place. This thing is built out on the edge of the cliff with this huge waterfall right below us, and then we're getting ready to watch sunset. I love the coffee business. Ooh, when you put the work into it, hand grinding it, it's just so much more rewarding. Ah, yes, nice.
Being at Daterra definitely has cleared up any misconceptions I may have had about mechanized farming techniques.
So with all this technology, you know, there is a heartbeat, you know, it has a ton of soul. And with all the big machinery and the big operations, it doesn't take away at all from the heart of it. And it was something I wasn't expecting, and it was a takeaway that I'll remember for the rest of my life, and especially every time I drink this coffee. Saúde!
Saúde!